Hello, welcome back everyone. I wanted to upload a hopefully helpful and interesting video today. I wanted to compare side by side the Weber 48 IDA carburetor, which you see here with the red caps on it, with a 51.5 IDA carburetor, and go over some of the differences and show you guys what's been done. One of them is the standard model that they sell, and one of them has had some modifications, and you can buy both of these in the VW aftermarket. Excuse me, allergies are bad today. Both of these came from CB Performance. The 48 was more or less standard Weber issue, and the 51.5 got modified by Sean Gears Engineering in California. So anyway, I've got two assembled carburetors here, and then I've got them disassembled to go over the outside and the inside. But anyway, right off the bat, you notice that the 51.5, and it's just a cosmetic thing, but it comes with these large 3-something-inch diameter air horns, or velocity stacks if you want to. It's got a lot of ports have been drilled and tapped. This brass port here in the frame looks to have been added, not by Weber, perhaps by Sean Gears. Outside, other than the big stacks, it looks visually similar to the 48, but take a look at the bores in this. You'll see in a moment the immediate difference in size. But this bore, the diameter, the reason it's called a 51.5 is because the bores are 51.5 inches in diameter. Now, if I take that, keep that in your visual catalog there. If I flip over the 48 and look at that one, look at the difference. You see the rim of that bore, it's a lot thicker. That's 48 millimeters in diameter. Okay, so right off the bat, those 51.5s have been quote unquote hogged out. And I stand corrected about the brass bolt there. That's not, I thought that it was just a plug on the 48, but it's not. It's the same, so that must be an out-of-the-box thing. Never mind what I said about that. All right, let's get back into the subject matter here. 48 versus 51.5. I've taken my 48s. They came, I believe, with a 37 millimeter Venturi and it's either an F7 or an F11 emulsion tube. And I forget the jetting, but it was very small on the main and the air correction jets, and I upgraded those. I've replaced my emulsion tubes in these 48s with the F2 instead of the F7. And let me see if I can give you an indication of what an F7 looks like versus an F2. Okay, here in the frame, I think I've got it's either an F7 or an F11. I can't see the markings on it, but it's got a certain number of holes drilled in it, and they're a certain diameter. And the jet that's in there, I don't think you're going to be able to see it with this camera, but that is a 120, and I want to say the air correction is very small too, so those are not suitable for use right as they are. But if you compare the F7 with a F2, let me get the package open one second here. Okay, here is an F2. I'm holding this with one hand, so I'm not going to be able to put them both in the frame side by side, but take it from me, that the F2 has more and larger holes in it for more fuel flow. So that is what the difference is. So anyway, and then as far as the main jet, I'm still waiting on some air correction jets, but this is a 180 main jet, and I've added that along with the F2 Venturi or F2 emulsion tubes to the 48 IDAs, but the hole in that one is a lot larger than the hole, and such a bad camera here, but the hole in the 120 jet. So needless to say, I've made some modifications to this carburetor. It's not going to match the performance of the 51.5, and I'll say more about that in a moment, besides the fact that the bores are smaller, which they're plenty large enough. This thing will get up and go with any Volkswagen would with a set of these if the heads and the cam are matched to the carburetors and it can breathe well enough. But anyway, back to these. The Venturis that I've got in these, I don't know if I misnamed those earlier in the video. I'll have to edit and review what I've said here, but it has 44 millimeter Venturis. I replaced the 37s that came stock in it with those. The 51.5s come with 44 millimeter Venturis. The jetting that's in them is actually small. It has the modifications it has had. It has had the bores enlarged from 48 to 51.5s. It has had the needle and seat, which I'll talk about in a minute, enlarged from a 2.0 to a 3.0. And it has had the float bowls enlarged. So it's got enlarged bores, enlarged Venturis, enlarged needle, and the float bowls are capable of holding more fuel. And let's talk about that for a minute here. Let's look at these. I've got the top off of its matching 51.5. You'll notice in the frame here there is a opening in this chamber that feeds into the float bowl. Let's look at the topped off of the 48 IDA. Notice that chamber is isolated from this chamber, so it's not going to have that fuel capacity in the 48 that the 51.5s have. I intend to look into that, but I haven't as of yet. Some guys take an end mill, and if you're careful and neat, you can cut that, and there's other ways to do it, I'm sure, too. But, you know, despite, I'm guessing if I really tax this thing when I get it on my engines, that these 48s are going on my 2332, and these 51.5s are going on an upcoming 2387. The 2332 has Super Pro heads with 45 millimeter valves, intake valves, 37.5 exhaust, and the 2387 has Street Fighter heads. That's something new from CB. They replaced their Ultra wedge ports. Those have 46 intake, 37.5 exhaust. Anyway, if I really turn this thing up, this fuel capacity is going to be an issue. I feel like, unless I get someone to, or I'm competent enough to enlarge that float bowl myself by removing that partition there. On another note around fuel, let's take a look under the cap, the lid, if you will, of the 48 as it came. This is the stock out of the box 2.0 needle and seat, and the camera is very bad here, but that is a metal ball on the end of that thing. If I set that aside for a minute, that keep in mind that's a 2.0 in the 48 needle, size 2.0. You look underneath the 51.5, I'm sorry, not that, I'll get it right in a minute here. the cap. Here we go. Yeah, this is a different beast. This is a 3.0, and it's got a glass ball, which is an upgrade. And I'm not even seeing, well, it looks entirely different than the 2.0 does. These holes around the bottom circumference are not present on the 2.0. Let's go back and look at that one again. There's a couple of holes on the top, but that's not going to be a fuel flowing beast like that 3.0 will be. I think you can probably ascertain that just by looking at it. So anyway, yeah, so this is a basically hopefully good helpful comparison between the 48 Weber IDA, which is a huge carburetor, and its modified cousin, the 51.5 IDA. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments and I will do my best to answer those. Just really quick to wrap it up here, I'm going to be replacing, oddly, although these 51.5s came with the hogged out bores and the 44mm Venturis, as well as the 3.0 needles, they didn't change the jetting. So I'm going to be upgrading the jetting in there. I'm going to replace these stocker emulsion tubes slash jet holders with the F2s that I've got in this pack here. I'm also going to replace the main jets that are 120 or 130 right now, I can't remember which, with a 180. I will upgrade the air correction jets, which just sit in the top of the jet stack. Well, actually they sit underneath. I don't think I can pop that off with one hand here, but underneath this cap is the air correction jet. Let me see if the other one comes off a little bit more easily. I put some grease on it beforehand. Yeah. Okay, so this air correction jet, for what you can see given this frame or this camera, that's very small. I don't know the size of it, but it's got to be upgraded. I'm going to upgrade that to, as I said, the main jet will become a 180, go from a 120 or 130 to a 180, and then this air correction jet will go from whatever it is up to about a 200 or even a 205. I'll have to play with the jetting once I get this, once I get that 2387 on the road. So more to come. Oh, and by the way, I've got a set of 3.0s / 300. I don't know what the difference is. Some people call them 300, some people call them 3.0s. Got a set of those here in plastic. I got these from Pegasus Racing, and I may or may not be using those on the IDA, the 48 IDA caps. I may get a set of those glass ball ones that come on the 51.5s and just go for broke on it, because those I understand are the nicest. But anyway, I've got plans here, and I'll quit rambling, and hopefully you guys have seen something in this video you might find helpful, and I will catch you guys soon. Stay safe, everyone. God bless. Hit me up with the comments. Don't forget to like, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. Appreciate you all. Have a great day. Bye.